See how much time passed. She's got a basket full of walnuts now, and she's still working on more. So amazing. We're gonna call it quits on for us the brake bleeding for today because we really want to investigate before we actually pick up those. Even though they're snubbier, they'll still work. But we're hoping that you know, that little rubber there that did the trick for us. So we'll find out tomorrow. I'm not gonna even play around with him today. So we'll wait till he gets all rubbed. Oh, that's Anthony from APM Scooter calling me right now. Let me take care of this. We just got done speaking with Anthony. Unfortunately, we couldn't start the scooter because he was wanting to see if my tack still works with the intermittent issue that I had earlier. Because he thinks it might be this wire connection here that I probably have to maybe take a look at, probably maybe resolder or touch up. However, we couldn't even start the scooter because the battery didn't even have enough power, even though the fuse we thought might have been popped, but this fuse usually light up when it's popped, but with a low battery it's not. For the first time ever, my battery voltage here, I'll show you here. I'm gonna put the key in the ignition just to put it. Now I actually have power before I didn't even get any power. See, there it goes, now it's climbing. But it was the measly, oh man, look at that, it's 11.9 volts there. So it's pretty fast now, so it's starting. I probably wanna maybe set it a little bit longer just to give the battery a little bit more time to hopefully get all the way to 100%. Shouldn't take more than maybe 20 minutes on this Nuku charger. I just put it in right now, like less than about maybe 3 minutes ago, or 2 minutes now. So it went up from 6 volts to about, well, let's find out right now. Let's see where it's at. See, now it's at 12 volts now. It's still climbing. So I still have it on, 12 volts. I'll turn it off. I was surprised to actually kill the battery that quickly. They said the remote start usually does kill the battery, but I didn't know how. And APM can attest to this. He could probably say that it's not because of that. What it is it becomes a parasite if things malfunction. So in fact, also I might have maybe pressed it so many times on the remote here when I'm trying to, you know, try to get this to work. 1, 2, 3. I click off a couple times. It's a double click mechanism like your mouse. So I kind of clicked on it, double click and stuff like that. So I might click it too many times, perhaps trying to crank it and then crank it. You know, the scooter doesn't have enough momentum to keep charging, so every time I crank it, it bursts, starts, and it dies. Bursts, starts, and it dies. So I'm not sure why that would drain the battery. If it started up, it would give a little bit of juice to it. So you can see the last voltage we read was 12 volts, right? That was fast. Actually went from 6 volts to 12 volts in less than, what, 3 minutes of talking? So let's do this here. Let's check this one out. See where's that? See, now 12.4 volts, 12.3 fluctuating. See, so it's not bad. It's enough juice here to do what we need to do. Now again, our RPM gauge didn't work earlier until we actually disconnected this wire here. So APM said he might be able to, you know, help me in troubleshooting that one. More likely to try it on the side wire deal. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll let this guy do his thing. Now look at that. He's already at almost blinking at 50% now. Look at that. Now it's fluctuating. Fluctuating between. Isn't that cool? Yeah, I'm not using the Shorai charger on it, but now look at that. See? Oh, it's weird. It looks like it's blinking on the screen, but it's not. Again, the camera captures at a certain resolution. So sometimes when you think I'm actually clicking quite a bit often, it's not. It's just the camera catching at a slower rate. And I noticed I have audio delay on my video sometimes where I say something and then eventually a couple of seconds later you see me actually do it. So that's why it seems like I'm doing 1, 2, 3 and I'm still pushing like this. But actually, when I was counting it, my hands were actually still 1, 2, 3, and then I actually push. But since the audio delay, it looks like I'm actually, I already said I'm going to push it, and then you think I'm going to push it, but I really didn't push it yet until the actual audio delay catches up to the video. That's what makes it look like I actually push it more times than it. So I usually say 1, 2, 3, and then I click twice. If I do it slow motion, you still probably wouldn't believe it because of, again, you can see this, how it flickers like this. That's because it's actually delaying also the video. So there it goes. It's actually not flickering when I look at the naked eye. It's going slowly. It's going like this, opening and closing the light of this 50%. But in your case, it's on the camera, it's flickering like mad, right? But it's not really. It's slow motion really when you look at the naked eye. But the camera again catches at a certain rate. Well, anyway, hopefully that leader brake bolt does work. I mean, it's tight already, but the only thing that bothers me is that it's still, if it leaks, we're gonna have a problem there because I don't know, in the long run, it might drain out its fluid prematurely. So I don't want that. So the front one doesn't have any leaks as far as I know of yet, but we'll find out. I mean, I haven't really put it to the test, but it does get dirty quickly though. Look at that. I don't know, I thought I cleaned it much already, but every time I move a spot, I always come to find out there's something here, something there. So let me just leave this key in, not at starting ignition, but just kind of leave it in the position. But let's see where it's at right now. Okay, 12.9, look at that, almost 13 volts already, that fast, huh? So we'll leave them off. This thing's gotta go ways to go. So we'll let that do the thing. And let's go ahead and just kind of wipe a little bit of our area here. Especially our brake caliper, I'm not sure why it has the reason to be dirty. But it's dirty on the other side. Show you here real quick. See that little dirt area? You'd think I can always capture everything, right? But look, I'll go behind it real quick. Just kind of wipe it. There you go, look at that. Now, that's not from a leaky brake or anything. That's just dust attracted to that little crit area. So that's wiped down now. Feel good, feel better. So, can't always capture everything. So I'm just trying to clean it. So what we're going to do today, I mean, we can't, one thing after another, you know what I mean? We can't seal this, we can't seal that in case, but we can probably start putting the back part if there's no more leak here or no more troubleshooting to do here. But we'll find out first, because I would like to start putting the, yeah, sorry, Ali. So we'll find out. There we go. Clean it really nicely. Yeah, this one had no leak at all whatsoever. We had no problem with it. It just has like a little dirt here. I'm going to try to see if I can clean it a little bit better. Try to get out. Maybe if I have to spray a little bit of that, what do you call that? A little brake cleaner thing there. That we don't have to see. Look at that. It's like it has little bits of, you can see this little rusty inside the brake line. Yeah, it looks like it's inside of it. But let me see if I can clean on the outside, okay? So let's do this. Let me see. I'll get my brake cleaner here while this thing is still being in the position of charging itself. So I'm surprised it died. It really did. I really thought we were gonna go ahead and be able to start the scooter like we always done. I think what it is we play with the remote start, man. That remote start really does zap the scooter battery quickly. I'm very surprised. So I mean, maybe a couple usage. Maybe you actually want to drive it, not just start it with the remote starter and have it decay on you, right? So anyway, I'm gonna spray it like this. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. There we go. A little bit here. See where I can rub off. Yeah. I guess it's not something I can rub off. It's why it's inside the braid, I guess. That's cool. So anything I can clean else, I'll clean. Yep, I really like this. The only thing I regret is not being able to put a clear coat. Maybe that'll protect it more. I don't know. But so far, I'm loving this. I think that probably one of my fun things to paint right here was this guy right here. His little underbelly. So that worked well for me. Now it's going to the 75% level, but you guys, there you go. Now you guys can see it come in and out. This is what it normally would have done. But for some reason, it showed it blinking. See, that shouldn't blink like that. I mean, only in the camera it blinks like that, but in my eyes, it still actually shows very slow motion. But on the camera, is what you're seeing this blink and this blink, right? All three, but it's not really like that in the naked eye. So that's why I'm telling you, it's a video delay. You can't really take it that it's constant, like, you know, people are clicking. that's why I keep on trying to say. So I'm gonna do it. Let's see here. Go underneath the belly. Just kind of make sure I inspect everything. Oh, I got a new cover for this guy. It looks really neat. The no-code charger. This thing's awesome. Put all the cables here and everything. Has a nice little feel to it. Protect material. And put them in there because I remember I shoved them in a plastic bag. So I really don't want to get this guy damaged or anything. So let's go ahead and keep that in there. Got plenty of fuses here. I was about to start replacing this fuse here in a little bit, thinking the fuse pop, right? Because I figured this one's a light up kind. This one I bought is not the last. Little take a quick peek here what we're at. What we've been for about 10 minutes now is at 13.45 volts register in here though. But let's see what's registered actually on the battery itself. So let me put my little spidey glass here. 3.2 volts already right there. Even though this says 3.34, this will probably catch up. It's probably in the fluctuating 13.2 volts still. So there we go. This is probably enough to fire the engine. and we'll see if the RPM actually works now. Let's find it out. Let's do this. Let's go and start the engine up. All right, so we got our, I mean, we shouldn't, I don't know, should we start even with the disconnected? Probably not. Let's just be on the safe side, let the battery do its thing. Right now, I know it still fluctuating between 75%, but it's really not. It's just going up and down slowly. So we'll just let it do its thing here. So it's about 13.4 volts. That was fast. All right, battery looked like it's been charged for a while now. Let's see what the voltage is on that right guys now. Let's see, let's probably disconnect that one in here. Okay. Make sure we actually tap the actual battery itself and not just the meter. So I got the negative on here. Try to reach over, grab the positive wire. There we go. So we're about 13.36 volts. It's actually almost clear there, almost showing the green. So it's still flashing. So let's go and test this bad boy out. I think we should be okay. I think we should probably allow the scooter to be able to charge the rest perhaps. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe we should let it wait. But I think, knowing me, I'm probably not patient enough to do it. So let's go ahead and start getting the keys on here and actually see if we can fire it up. It should have been alright. It's only been half an hour. So that was pretty fast. So let's check it out and see if the RPM gauge is working. We'll put this guy in here. Okay, let's go and take off the, ooh, look at the lights now. Everything's working well like it should. So let's do this. Which way will be, I guess we disconnect the positive first. We'll disconnect this guy first. Alright, so we'll leave this guy hanging right there. He's not connected to the battery anymore. I think we might have enough juice here. 13 volts, unfortunately. And now it looks like, I can't believe it's 6 volts. Literally, you cannot do anything with the battery. Now, the brakes lever is already pushed on, so we're not worried about the brake lever. Let me just scoot this guy back over here. Okay, we're going to fire him up, make sure everything's good. Oil cap's turned on. Kill switch is on. 1, 2. Let's go and check out the RPM. 1, 2, 3. Look at that. First fire of the day. See the RPM right there? It's still not, it doesn't feel like it's idling. So let's see if I even pull the throttle cable, right? I'm not too worried about it because the brake lever is handled right now. See that? The only time it works if we were to disconnect this joint and reconnect it back. It's just the weirdest thing I ever seen before. So we'll go ahead and disconnect it. Let's see if I can pull it out. A little tricky. Now even tapping like this might even make it work. I didn't even disconnect it yet, but let me just see. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the RPM is not working still. So what we're gonna do is just disconnect it. Alright, so we disconnected while it's actually still on the scooter, right? So the scooter's turned on. Now I'm gonna go and try to connect it back. You can lean the walnut, it's good. Yeah, you can lean it, roast it. Just trying to figure out what she's gonna do with all those walnuts that she just cracked open. Okay, there you go, I connected back. Okay, I connected and reconnected it while it's still the scooter on. Let's see what happens. Huh, so it's still not living it up. There you go, look at that. Well, I'm moving it because of a jolt, but it's supposed to move on its own. Alright, so let's see what we can do here. Try to do this again. Amazing enough. I want to make sure our brake my charger here is not going to create a problem. There you go, look, RPM working. Woo! 4,000 RPM right there. 4,000. Alright, so what it is, I don't know. Maybe it takes some time for it to actually collaborate on there. I never really tested long enough, but I don't think it ever did work. But so maybe just a gauge cluster. Now let's go and turn it off. Okay, let's turn it off, take the key out. And then let's go and fire it up again like we were starting. Just a manual way. Let's see where our battery's, maybe our battery. Again, the blue wire's not connected. does smell a little bit. It's okay. I don't think I smell anything too fishy. Nah, nothing bad. Probably just warm up the exhaust. Okay, so let's go start again. Brake lever is already pressed on by force because we just did the brake lever. Okay, 1, 2, 3. One little quick push. Okay, you can see the RPM here. I didn't unplug it. There you go. It still works. So I guess once we get stabilized there and we got plugged in there, I think it might create another problem. But we'll see. Let's see what APM comes up with. Maybe he really recommends I should, you know, retap this cleanly. I'm not sure if it's a problem or not to create the intermittent. I think the intermittent issue should be somewhere in the gauge cluster yet, but I'm not the expert on this, so I'll leave it to APM scootering. Hopefully he can help me troubleshoot our blue wire here. Well, he did mention to do something, but I think the last comment he said wait on him. He was going to say maybe actually route the pink wire to the alarm ignition wire, so we can take the pink wire and route to the alarm one and leave the orange unplugged, of course. So even with this setup here, we could probably get our remote start to work. So let me see if I can actually force this guy here in the blue section here. You ready? We'll put him in the blue section. I'm just gonna do a jerry rig style here. All right, here we go. Give me 1 second here. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and, there we go, look. He's all right there. He's not gonna touch any other wire. He's kind of smashed into the red and yellow wire, the remote start. And let's see what he can do, ready? We'll leave our kill switch on. Our brake lever is already automatically pressed for us. So again, APM says I might be pushing this quite often, but just remember again, it's a video delay. Okay, I'm gonna hit the unlock button 1 time. There you go. In fact, I'll move my finger here so you can tell what I'm doing. Okay, I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna go push now. Here it goes. 1, 2. You hear that, and then it dies. So we get the remote start to work. Let's focus on the battery. Okay, do the same thing. I'm gonna unlock it 1 time. Okay, I'm gonna go and hit the remote start. 1, 2, 3. I'm coming in. 1, 2, click there. There you go. See, by the time it actually initiates a charge, it's already choking and dying itself. So that's probably what's killing our battery prematurely, because it never really got a chance to fully start itself. So that's it. So for right now, I'll wait for APM. I think he's having dinner right now. So if he wants to, he can make it work. Okay. So I got some more apple pies here from McDonald's. I love their strawberry apple pie. These guys are delicious. It's strawberry apple pie, and you could put walnut in there. The nut, Paul. Put nut in there, bake it. Oh, it's delicious right here. They're 2 for $1.49, I believe, and 1 for $1. So I recommend just get 2. I know it's good for your health, right? Well, it's good for your mental health. How about that? Anyway, it tastes delicious, especially when it's more hotter than this. So I always like to snack on these guys here. I might do it, you know, at least twice a day. There goes the belly showing back up. So yeah, so this is it. I think we're just gonna wait on the APM here. Now let's check this out. Let's see where the battery level is at right now. Let's put the keys on. You remember it's at 13 volts, and we kind of started a little bit just momentarily. So let's check it out. It's 13 volts still. So what we can do is just keep the charger on there. Let's try get the Nuku to actually show a full green charge before we accept the fact that it should be or not should be. So here we go. We'll put our black first. That's why I always done it. I keep all the batteries, the wires still connected to it. What's great about the Nuku, they give you a little small clamp here, so it's nice. It can fit in the charger just fine. We'll put the positive one. You see here, it automatically detects. Look at that, it just goes directly to the 12 volt. Though it's blinking, it's really not. So we're gonna go and find out what's the deal. We're just gonna wait for it. See, right now it's reading at 25% charge. I don't think it's gonna tell us anything different right now. It's starting to analyze it first to see. What it does is, I heard the Noco Genius charger. It tries to charge each cell. And sometimes it's very fooling. Like, remember last time we charged the Shorai one on this one, and we really thought, how come it charges to 11 volts and it still didn't work? Well, what happened was the Shorai was defective in one cell, but instead of actually reading it defective, what it does is it overcharges the other cell and compensates for it. So it gave us kind of a false reading of 13 volts plus charge on it, when it actually was still around 10 volts, not enough to crank the scooter. So that was a lesson learned there, but this is practically a new battery still as well. It wasn't defective. We did deplete it now, but before we never really actually had a crank issue with it. You can see right now it's at 25% level. You would think at 13 volts it should be at least 75% level, right? But it's going pretty fast now. Now it's at the 50% level. What we want to do is actually get all the way to the green, 100%. This is not pushable, by the way. This is an indicator. You can't push your indicating level. This one you might be able to push. I don't know. I think this one you siphon through the mode here as well. So there's probably nothing you can really do with push. But yeah, what I'll do is I'll have it fully charge it. This might become a parasite. I don't know, by leaving this connected on there, but we'll do a test, okay? Now, we didn't have it on here and it still drained our battery to like 6 volt where it looked like it was dead. I thought the fuse was broke. But let's check it out while leaving it on here. See the next day that we're no longer cranking. I think when we last cranked it, we assumed that every time it was cranking, it was charging the battery as it was attempting to start it. Well, it did start the scooter, but it died eventually. Look at that, it already went to green real quickly because it wasn't that low of a charge in the initiation. You can see how much voltage it is right now, actually. So let me go ahead and put my keys back in. Okay, here we go. See, 13.1 volts still. And again, I don't want to really crank the scooter with this connected on. I'm sure it'll work and everything, but I just don't want the side effect from what could have done with the battery. Oh, you can see here, condensation. This has nothing to do with the brake line, okay? You can see a little fluid here came from somewhere. So let's investigate this guy, shall we? Let me find out. Oh, he's mainly evaporating water. You can see he's not sticky, not slimy. He's just, see that? He's not leaving oil residue on my finger. I could just almost dry him out. He's condensation maybe from the exhaust, that's it. So he's not a problem there. What we're looking for is something here and here. These tires should have been dried out by now from the last cardboard, so it shouldn't have any kind of wet mark piling up here anymore, okay? So this is what we're worried about. And hopefully the sealer, I don't know if there's a time to cure that guy. He does feel like super glue when you apply him. It's like a little thicker gel base glue. And we put it all around. Now the picture did show that it's more like a white, let's see here. It did show more of like a white base, even though this one came to us like sort of like a clear slash white a little bit here and there, but it wasn't entirely all white. So let's find out if it's, you know, maybe a defective product or what, but I don't think so. I think we did what we did to it. There we go, this is what we used here. Now again, if this doesn't work, our next plan would be to change out that whole banjo bolt. And I think that with the bleeder, remember that little valve check one that I showed you a picture of here, this guy here? This guy right here, even though he's a little snubbier right here than our original, when he dries in like this. I know it's paper, but bear with me. When he dries in like this. Even though he's snubbier, I think he's still going to be able to create the seal, because that's what my distributor mentioned to me, that this guy is probably the one. As long as it's 8mm by 1.25 pitch thread. I think this has to be a 1.25 pitch. I think it's going to be like 2mm in length, but only a, 2 centimeters in length here, the thread area. But it's only going to take about a centimeter to actually go in before it stops. You can see here, this is a centimeter left behind out of this existing banjo bolt. And then another centimeter went inside, and that centimeter, we got enough there. You remember me putting on this little coating there. It was like a little bit of, it didn't look like this smooth white like this. It looked like it was kind of watered down or some sort. So that was an interesting way to see what's going on with this guy. So we'll find out if there's a problem with this substance at all. But I don't think so. I mean, it doesn't take any time to cure whatsoever. And then we also dried the canal up pretty well. You've seen how I did it. The only reason why we opened it back up was we want to make sure we get the most pressure out of that bleeder valve. So we kind of pushed it back a little bit. So it might have maybe pushed a little bit of the brake fluid through it as well. But for the most part, I think we still got most of the threaded covered on there. So we'll see. And we'll see the result if we start seeing drips here. So what freaks me out is mainly this connection here. I'm not too worried about the bleeder bolt. That has to do, that doesn't have to do with anything of us having to disassembled our plastic cover again just to route the cable line. So if the cable line's still good, the brake assembly can be easily replaced here on the exterior as well as the bleeder bolt. Now the current bleeder bolt, like I said again, it has a little bit more sharper versus what's on this picture here. So if we look at the current bleeder bolt here I have in my pocket, I guess. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Oh yeah, there we go. I have everything in my pocket. I just don't know what it is until I look for it. Okay, so you can see here, it's more sharper. The only reason why it's more sharper, the top is a little bit, lengthier, but that doesn't really matter. That's just the top surface, right? But what we're concerned about is, will this guy seal the deal here once he actually goes in? So as long as right here, this is enough thickness right here to actually close up into this part where the sharp edges is, like it cones in and it blocks. So it blocks from the very bottom where the cone sits, and then no more fluid can come out. But the minute you open it up, there's enough little space here because the thread, the whole thing is hollow, like probably up to the thread here. So when it opens up, it's going to open up like this, right? So a little bit more area there. When it opens up like this, it just has enough fluid to flow in this little crit area for it to get into here and then back out to here. So the only thing that's going to press it close is this cone shape right here. The minute it goes in, it makes it like a force plug, like a cone press plug. But the minute it lifts off, the fluid can flow back. So this thread right here is not going to do us any good. It's just really to keep dust out. But since we only have a very slight little small leak, I'm not sure, maybe because I tighten it even more. I think if I go any more, I'm probably going to break the bleeder bolt again like I did last time. So I think I went as far as I can righty tight on this guy going downward. So we're gonna hope that for one thing is this Loctite actually seals the deal for us on this thread area, just to make sure we kind of help a little bit. I'm thinking hopefully that what's pushing it out is just the air, and what's already hanging out near the edge of the thread was just some of the either brake fluid or some of this compound here that was just pushed out remaining. So hopefully it still seals everything else enclosed intact, and that way we don't have to worry about it. So we won't know this yet until 24 hours, and we already have it clamped on our brake handlebar. So now we're just gonna wait. We'll pick this guy up tomorrow if this still creates a problem for us, and we're gonna change him out completely. So we'll do a little bit of that slight bleeding of the brakes again. I might not even use this stuff anymore on here. I might, who knows, but I'm depending. I just don't see any damage in this area to really know. The only thing I can think of is maybe the housing on the brake assembly is damaged. If this right here internal layer has a little, crack or opening here that allows it to actually, when you cone it in, it still has an opening wedge. That crack, that will let it open just like if we were to back this bleeder bolt out. So it's gonna be the same. So the only thing I can think of is if it's, defective here in this assembly right here, where it's supposed to, when you cone it in, it's supposed to lock it in like this, see? So there should be a wall right here where it cones in and allows you to plug it in, like you forcefully plug it in. So it's, even though this is soft aluminum, it should, and this is metal, it should allow it to pretty much cone press it in there and create a little lock by force. The threads driving in that bolt lock. So we'll find out, and then again we just put a little bit on the thread here. But again, this is what it says here. It says thread sealant, so it's supposed to seal whatever is supposed to come out of that thread area, so it should do its job. And it's also automotive grade for fuel fittings, oil, and coolant lines, brake, and steering fittings. Prevents leaking. And I'm not sure what it is to mix it up. I figure if it's in the same tube, I don't think we can mix it up anymore. It's not like it's two separate tubes like our JB Weld or plastic epoxy, right? So it's more than likely it's just the way it is. I think we applied it, but we saw a little bit of clear fluid come out, even though it's like a thick gel base. And also we saw a little bit of the white paste side like it shows in the picture right here, right? Just very slightly though. It didn't really look that perfect. But we'll find out. It says, oh, that's in Spanish. Directions right there. This is the patent and part number. See if I can get my finger off of there for a second. Kind of read it for its entirely here. Okay, clean and dry parts using Loctite primer. Okay, well, we did our part. We just cleaned much as we can. Need to before use. I'm thinking need means put a little niche in it to open it. Apply sealant to leading thread of male fitting, which we did. We put in the male. This guy's the male here. He's coking in. Okay, and then leave the first thread free of sealant. The first thread, I guess, is like we tried it. We make sure the first thread here is, you know, not, because I guess when it packs it in, it'll probably screw in more. And then let's see what else it says. Okay, leave the first thread free of sealant. Apply it only 3/4 of a thread turn. 3/4. Wow, 3/4. Not even a full. We actually went all the way fully to it, right? Which was plenty actually. So we went all the way full circle on this guy. So it said 3/4 of a turn. Well, I'm not sure 3/4 of a turn what they mean by that. It could be what they mean is you know, 3/4 of the turn, not like the full turn yet, just 3/4 of it, like 75% of it a turn. So let's see here. My battery's dying, so I have to push this button here to charge it, which I did. So it means like this. So we started out right here on the second thread right here. I know I can't really show you with my fat fingernails, but right there, let's say, you know, this is the first thread right here, the very beginning, and then you got moved to the second one right there, and then 3/4 of the turn. So let's say we turn it, it'll stop like 75%, right? Then you stop. You don't need to go all the way 360, but I don't think it really matters if you do 360 or not 360. They're just trying to make sure you don't use too much of it. Apply only 3/4 of a thread turn. Product does not need to be applied to all threads. Assembly parts and tighten to recommend. Okay, let's go ahead and take some time here. We're just going to clean a little bit the area here. Again, I don't want any kind of spat here to indicate of any kind of leakage. So what I'm going to do is I think I have a little bit of cloth left on me. I want to go ahead and clean out that area a little bit, give them a dust down. So I'll take a little bit of brake cleaner, brake or throttle air by, whichever one. Kind of squirt into the cloth a little bit. There we go. That's it. What I want to do is actually get to this guy here. See a little water spot here. See if this will help. Little water spot marks. Probably not too hard water stain here. Still wouldn't get it out. Look at that. I'm sure there's special chemical that could probably treat aluminum water hard stain like this a little bit better. But the idea is make sure there's no water coming from here. We haven't really rubbed this any. Should have been blasting there. Look at that one. See the little spaticles? Start noticing these little things when you come around and turn it around. Put a little brake cleaner in this. It should be fine. You don't want to overdo it though. Kill the coating or anything like that. Alright, there we go. Nice and shine. So I'm not sure. Maybe that leak came from this guy here. Yeah, he's supposed to go back in here eventually. Okay. Again, I know I wipe this all the time and we haven't even ridden yet. But you can see here, look at that. See a little stain there? See if you can tilt it this way, you guys can see it better. See that? Look at that. I hate that kind of stuff. So what I'm going to do, I think it's still a little moist in this area. I'm going to try to dab it like that. Alright. Kind of buff it out a little bit. Even though this thing is harsh on paint, I just don't want that little watermark drip to really show. And most of it's just dust. Alright, so we got, start seeing things. Alright, there we go. Let's see how our charger level is now. It's been what, 20 minutes now? You can see here it's flashing the green now. And let's see where the battery is actually at. I'll put the keys in there. We'll read it from that, even though we know it's higher directly in the battery, which is a good indicator. Because if this is off by a couple, you know, lower by a couple points, we can assume the battery's going to be better. Okay. 13.1 volts, really, huh? All right. Let's see actually what the battery's really like. I'll leave this off for a second. So let's get our voltmeter. And let's see. So we can measure this guy here. Just gonna probe him like this. If If I can get to him anyway. That's going to be a negative reading because I'm kind of reversed. Try to probe his washer. There it goes. 13.36. 13.36. Not bad. So we'll let this keep doing its thing. We'll let it till 100% charge. In usual, actually stay solid at 100%. Right now, it's still going in and out. You see there? So that's pretty much it. That's all we can do today until hopefully APM gets back with us. We can troubleshoot a little bit more of the pink wire setup and the orange wire configuration. You can see here, this is pretty much going to the ignition directly. So this pink wire is tapped directly, looped in to the ignition switch. And then the gray wire is connected to the main harness of the scooter skunk wire. So when we split them open, we join them together. It's the same as if we were to pretty much join the skunk wire like back to what it was. But the only difference now is we're manipulating it to the harness there. So what APM recommended maybe at one point is take the pink wire from the alarm. Don't get confused with the pink wire that's used as a tap wire here, nor the gray wire, even though they were supposed to be part of the deal. We're actually going to be swapping it. Last time we swapped the pink wire to be in the corner instead of the gray wire, we ended up blowing this fuse, remember? So this time, anything we mess with the skunk wire will blow up the fuse. So we gotta be really cautious of that. Wouldn't matter because we have plenty of fuse now. So we're ready. We are ready. As soon as APM is available, we can check that out and see how we can modify this to improve. Want to make sure everything's in here. See the Loctite. There's our fuses there. I was wondering where the heck it went. We'll keep this guy here with our voltmeter. So we're good. I cleaned the hose up already. So prepare for it. Hopefully we don't have to re-bleed it tomorrow, but we'll see. Kept the spare Banjo bolt in here. Again, they're M8 by 1.25 thread pitch, so if you ever need to find those Banjo bolts. That's the size for you. And even though they're a little shallow, they'll still work. That's why I've been recommended. In the meantime, we'll leave this key in off position. And we'll just wait till this guy fires up complete. I mean, you know, greens solidly stays green. Then we can go ahead and unplug him and put him back in his little special Nuku housing. I didn't think I'll ever have to use this guy, but I'm glad we did buy him. Because now we need to use them because the remote starter definitely drained out. Now I'm leaving the remote starter on too for the rest of the evening. And let's see if it becomes a parasite, meaning it'll just draw battery for no reason. Let's see what happens, okay? Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But the state of the alarm right now is in the off position. So I'll push it right now. You won't hear the siren, of course, but you'll hear it blink. See that? So it's in the off position. When I push it, let's see if the battery voltage spikes up or anything. Really? 1, 2, 3. No, nothing. The only thing that spikes up is the signal lights, which I think are already disabled. Yep, so everything's clean, I believe. No drip here on this end as well. You know, this always makes me paranoid, this guy right here. But it seems like it only happens wherever he has a Dragon Hoka symbol. So maybe it won't be too bad. Well, anyway, Michael, I'm rambling on, so it's better to get started. And we'll shoot for it tomorrow again. And we'll keep this tie strap on. Because I think it's going to help us troubleshoot our, ignition start and everything. We don't have to keep on gripping the brake lever. And then also serve a dual purpose, because hopefully he'll squeeze every bit of air from our new bleeded, resealed bleeder bolt there. That's all we did. So that's it. Michael from ACY Store. I appreciate you guys sticking in and watching the Zenon Interceptor, a ZN 150T-9 model, which they makes, I guess, for the California market or even the US market, they call it Interceptor 150 SSR, but I believe Zenon calls it their King or something like that. As far as I know, they said it was like their flagship product from APM Scootering. And I think probably in Italy they call it Vicici or something like that with a V. There's so many names to it, but it's the same branded name. The company that makes them is pretty much the owner's name, Taozong Zhangjing Motorcycle Company. And it's pretty much Zenon. So that's it. Big popular in India, that's for sure. All right, Michael from ACY Store signing out.